Hello and welcome to the Busworthy Podcast. I am your host, Matt Hartman, and today it's not going to be a real podcast format. Actually, you can see me. You're going to see my screen. So I'm going to be drafting a mock draft here. This isn't going to be like my official mock draft. I don't think I'm going to do trades because I feel like I would be sitting at each pick for 5 minutes, and I don't want to do a 2 hour mock draft of me trying to make sense of trades right now. That's for me to be offline to do that. So this isn't my official mock draft 3.0 or anything like that. That will probably come either next Monday or the Monday after. And then the last week, the Monday prior to the NFL draft, the Monday prior to the 27th, that same week, will be my 4.0. And my last official mock draft. So I just wanted to switch it up, do something new, do an actual video type format of doing an actual mock draft for everyone to see my process through things and just run through it. So, yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Let's go to the quarterback position, and talk through the Carolina Panthers. I realistically believe that the Carolina Panthers can take any one of these four quarterbacks. I feel like a lot of people have kind of narrowed it down to C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson. I feel like it's crazy to take Bryce Young completely out of the mix, which it feels like people have been doing. Will Levis kind of is the clear QB4 in this mock, in this draft season, which I agree with. I was kind of on the train of C.J. Stroud as QB4. My quarterback rankings about a month ago was Bryce, Richardson, Levis, Stroud. I've kind of switched back on that. I've kind of put Stroud above Levis just because Stroud's floor is going to be naturally a lot higher than Will Levis. But, yeah, the guy I'm going to be taking here is the guy with the most buzz with the Carolina Panthers. It's C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud has the most buzz with the Carolina Panthers. He put on a show at the Combine. He put on a show at his pro day. He is just a natural thrower of the football. He stands in the pocket. He has a sizable frame. He doesn't have the biggest frame in the class, but he's about, I think, 4 to 5 inches taller than Bryce Young. The Combine statistics say that Bryce Young is only 15 pounds heavier, but in playing weight, I feel like C.J. Stroud is probably in the more 25 to 30 pounds heavier than Bryce Young. He is the natural thrower of the football, as I mentioned, throws from the pocket. He doesn't make plays with his legs all that often, but everyone will tell you, and go watch the Georgia game if you haven't, he did it. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things in the draft process is, can the guy do it? You're not really projecting that portion of C.J. Stroud's game because we've seen him do it. We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. get taken out of that game. Jackson Smith-Njigba didn't play at all last year. I don't know how many games he played, but he was a non-factor in 2022, and this team still made the college football playoff and is a kick away from playing in the national championship against TCU, frankly. So I think it's probably going to be C.J. Stroud. He's the favorite. I would still probably take Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is my quarterback one. I'm sticking to my evaluation. He is the best quarterback in this class, period. And that's why he's going number 2. Let's just lump it in with the Texans. Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this class. I feel like he is a master manipulator of chaos. I think he can... Watch Alabama, you saw him. He was able to take the chaos that came with being a quarterback and just maneuver around the pocket and make plays because of it. He doesn't have quite the arm C.J. Stroud has. I think he has an NFL arm. It's NFL caliber. It's not going to come in and you're not going to be like, oh, this guy has a top 10 arm in the NFL. It's kind of like Joe Burrow. If he can be as surgical and as down to the minute detail as Joe Burrow was, and I think he has the capability of doing that, Bryce Young could be very successful in this league. The only issue is he is 5'10". He plays at 188 is what Alabama people say. I believe that. He's not 204. That's a fibbed number. That's a lot of water weight. And I think that's what NFL scouts know. But I don't think the Texans should care. The Texans are finding a way to stick at the number 2 pick and get quite possibly the best player in the draft. And at quarterback, a position of need, the most important position. So I like this pick. Again, he's my number 1 quarterback for a reason. He's going to stay that way, period. Let's get to the next pick. Pick number 3. This is a classic trade down spot for the Arizona Cardinals, in my opinion. I think this team should definitely trade down if, say, the Colts are willing to come up one spot to get their quarterback like the Bears did with Mitchell Trubisky in 2017. The Lions, I think, are a possibility. The Raiders, the Falcons. I know the Falcons inquired about the number 1 pick. That means something. They like a quarterback in this draft, I believe. And then we scroll down, and I think the Titans are a little too far out of it. And then like they have the Packers as a quarterback need. But I think that's kind of pushing it a little bit. I don't think the Cardinals want to go down that far. I do believe the Raiders make a ton of sense if they love Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, because Jimmy Garoppolo is not the long-term answer. He's just not. But in the long term, I think one of these guys, Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, could be the guy. That's not this mock draft. I'm going to go with the best player on the board. It's Will Anderson. Do you think Will Anderson is the best player in this draft? Maybe. Well, you're getting him at 3 if you're Arizona. So Will Anderson is just a natural. Like let's go through some of his statistics. Like he is one of the best players in this. I mean, they don't show too much. They just show his grade. Like we could look. I wanted to show his run stops. He has some of the best run stops in the NFL. He has the clear sack reduction at 14 and 15 sacks, and even 8 sacks in only, about the same. But he's been a true 3-year starter his entire career, and I think that he's the best player in this draft that is not named Bryce Young. Jalen Carter has his off-field issues, so I think that does push him down a board a little bit. But here's the thing about NFL GMs. NFL GMs make excuses for talented players, and Jalen Carter is no exception. Jalen Carter has gotten his sentence. I think it's something like 80 hours community service, $1,000 in fines. So the off-the-field stuff has been resolved. But I think his pro day was a mess. I think that stress got a hold of him, which I can't blame him too much. But I feel like it's still a toss-up between Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. On-field football play, Jalen Carter is better, to me. But with everything going around, the positional value of everything, I think Will Anderson probably gets the nod here. Now we get to pick number 4, the Indianapolis Colts. This is a quarterback. This is Anthony Richardson. Stay with me. And you're probably thinking, Anthony Richardson needs to sit year 1. He needs to sit. He needs to go to a landing spot like the Detroit Lions, like the Seattle Seahawks, like the Raiders, and he needs to sit for a year. Here's the thing about Anthony Richardson. It is just like Trey Lance to me. And what do I mean by that? Trey Lance, when he came into the 2021 draft class, was the same as Anthony Richardson. A guy with limited snaps. He played in weaker competition than Anthony Richardson. That's where their difference is. But they're both superhuman freaks who have limited snaps. I'm trying to put this in the best way possible. Why would I draft a guy with no snaps if his biggest issue is no snaps? Why would I draft him and not give him snaps? If the guy's biggest issue is experience, why would I not give him experience? I want Anthony Richardson to go to a place like the Colts. I think the Colts is probably the number 1 option right now. I want him to go to a place where he's able to learn and play his rookie year. I don't think this guy is a Patrick Mahomes type, level of player who can sit, who has the experience, who has 40 games under his belt. He has 13. And in 13, you have seen the great, you have seen the awful, and you've seen the middle. Anthony Richardson throws from the pocket very well. He anticipates throws. His accuracy, his completion percentage is worrisome, but there's guys with worse who have gone in the first round. So I don't want to knock that too much, but I don't think this guy should come in and sit year one or year two. This guy is ready to play football now because of his athletic profile. Like, end of story. That's it. And so, I don't know. I really don't know how to project Anthony Richardson because we all said Malik Willis was a first-round pick last year. He lasted till pick 80. Same with Desmond Ridder. The only quarterback to go in the first 64 picks was Kenny Pickett. I don't know where the NFL is going to fall on Anthony Richardson. I have him as my quarterback too, and I'm not wavering on it. He is better than C.J. Stroud, in my opinion. And that's all I'm going to say with Anthony Richardson. He's the most polarizing prospect. Some people have said Will Levis. It's Anthony Richardson. Either you love him or you hate him. I don't think there's anyone who's on the middle of Anthony Richardson. And either you think he's a top 5 pick or you wouldn't trust him taking him in the first round. I clearly trust him more than the consensus. I have him going pick 4 to the Colts. Next we get into number 5. The Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with Jalen Carter. I am not concerned with the off-the-field issues, as I mentioned. Jalen Carter is a phenomenal player when on the field, and like I said, GMs make excuses all the time for these players. The only thing is, I don't know if John Schneider and Pete Carroll will make this pick. I think, well, I'm kind of thinking back up. They kind of zag when you want them, when you think they're gonna zig. So I don't wanna sit here and say that, but yeah, I think Jalen Carter is the best player in this class. Like, him and Bryce Young and Will Anderson are all up for the top 1 pick. When you look at film, I think Jalen Carter was the best player, and he falls to 5. You're getting a steal here. Like I said, he has an incredible motor. He's a game wrecker at that position, in the position where you don't find too many game wreckers. So I'm gonna go Jalen Carter. I think it makes too much sense if he falls this far. Next we get into the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Let's get into it. It's Devon Witherspoon. I feel like a lot of people have mocked this, but for good reason. Devon Witherspoon is the Dan Campbell corner. He profiles a lot like Jeff Okudah, who is with the Lions, who wasn't drafted by Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, but he profiles a lot like that. He's just a feisty outside corner who never takes a play off, which you love to see. And he hits hard. You know, you see those highlights with him hitting running backs, hitting wide receivers, tight ends as hard as he can, and they get rocked. So, and he can shadow a wide receiver 1. He did it in the Big Ten. Do I think he comes in and he's immediate success like Sauce Gardner? Probably not. No, I think, but that's also very, very, very high expectation to be Sauce Gardner. So yeah, I think Devon Witherspoon makes absolute sense. This team still has secondary help, but if they love Will Levis, I would see them taking Will Levis. Next up, I'm gonna go pick 7. I'm gonna go Tyree Wilson. I'm gonna go with Tyree Wilson. I think this is just classic BPA. I think they're going to find a way to get out of the Chandler Jones contract somewhat soon, and I think Tyree Wilson can be an immediate slide in the opposite side of Max Crosby. Tyree Wilson profiles a lot like a guy like last year, Trayvon Walker. Massive dude, 6'6", 270, 275, and he makes plays in the run. Go watch him against Texas. I mean, I saw it firsthand as a Texas fan. Don't get confused by the UK banner. That's basketball, but yeah, I mean, Tyree Wilson game wrecked that Texas game, and he game wrecked the TCU game, and TCU was an undefeated team playing in the national championship. He has his moments. I think he could theoretically, if you profiled him as the best edge in this class, and you said he's better than Will Anderson, I'd probably disagree with you, but I would see where you're coming from. And so that's where I sit on Tyree Wilson. I think very good player. He could pick 7, pretty good here, top 10 pick. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick pretty easily just because of the athletic ability. Next, we get into number 8. Is this a Will Levis spot? I think they're going to stick with Desmond Ridder, so I'm not going to go with Will Levis. They could go with Quentin Johnston, just give him another big, tall, long receiver, but this one has a lot of speed compared to the others. I'm going to go with Lucas Van Ness. I think this team needs D-line help. They did sign David Onyemata. They did sign Caden Ellis away from the Saints, and Jesse Bates. I still think they need one more edge rusher. I think they need one high-level edge rusher. They drafted Arnold Ebiketie out of Penn State last year, who I profiled. I thought it was going to be a first-round pick. Ended up slipping to the second, early second, got him with a top 40 pick, so I do think they spend on a premium position here. I could also see them taking Christian Gonzalez. He would make a lot of sense. Peter Skoronski, if they want him to slide into guard. I don't think guard is a position of need. I think the receiver class is too deep for them to take one at 8. I don't think any of these guys are worth a top 10 pick. I would debate top 15. I don't think they're worth a top 15 pick. I think there's better players. But that's where I sit with the Falcons. I think Lucas Van Ness played at Iowa, was never a starter. People saw concern with that. That's just how Iowa is. They like starting their seniors. They like playing their seniors over everyone else. And Lucas Van Ness, when he played, was a game record. Game wrecked Peter Skoronski. Game wrecked Paris Johnson. Both those guys are going to go in the top 15 of this draft. Lucas Van Ness, amazing player. I'm surprised PFF had him as low as 15, lower than Brian Branch if we're putting in positional value. So that's where I sit. Next, we get into the Chicago Bears. Peter Skoronski. Just get Peter Skoronski in the building and figure it out later. Can he be a tackle? Maybe. Can he be a guard? Maybe. Could he maybe play center? We don't have that on tape, so I don't want to project. The thing about the Chicago Bears is the Chicago Bears need to get the best 5 in the building. Just get the 5 best offensive linemen you can get. I think Braxton Jones is likely their left tackle. Cody Whitehair, if he wasn't going to be on the team, wouldn't be on the team, so I think he's going to be their center. They signed Nate Davis. Tevin Jenkins, whatever he is, I don't know. He's kind of 3.5, and then you get Peter Skoronski, and you can find one more. With how much money they have, they can find the last piece, whatever they want, whether it be left guard or right tackle or right guard, whatever they want. They can find it in free agency over time once the market kind of settles down because they have the most money. No one can compete with them with money. So I think this is to get guy number 4 on the offensive line here. There was a reason they were willing to go down to number 9. They are still higher than the Eagles, who could theoretically draft offensive line. They're still higher than the Texans, the Jets. They're higher than those teams who can theoretically draft offensive line, and they get the number 1 offensive lineman, not just tackle, but offensive lineman in this draft in Peter Skoronski. Also, Northwestern, local kid, so also a fun storyline. Next, we get into the Eagles. The Eagles, this is where I get a little, I don't know. I kind of fall into the I don't know. Theoretically, I think Brian Branch is on he is a possibility at number 10. I think it's too high for him, personally. and I love Brian Branch. He's one of my favorite players in this class. I say that with safety, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to take him at 10. This is a wild pick. I'm going to take Bijan Robinson at number 10. Bijan Robinson, he is going to go higher than you expect. Does he go number 10? Probably not. He probably doesn't go number 10. But Bijan Robinson to the Eagles just makes way too much sense to me because he gives you an element of this Eagles offense that I don't think you understand can be unlocked. Bijan Robinson is the best running back prospect we've seen since Saquon Barkley, and I would argue he's better than Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was home run dependent. He was hitting grand slams and 3-run homers. And go watch the USC Rose Bowl game. You'll see it. Bijan Robinson is a consistent get-on-base guy. Just get on base. He'll chug along. He'll break a few tackles. He'll get 8. Here, he'll break 1 tackle. Get 6. He consistently moves forward. And by the time you're hitting the third quarter, he's hitting a 55-yarder. Saw him at Texas. Hook 'em horns. He's an amazing player, and I get it. It's running back, but this guy is a can't-miss running back, and I feel like people are going to value that enough in this draft to take him at number 10, and I doubt the Eagles are the one to do it. I do think he goes in this mid-round phase. I don't think it's going to be the Lions. I think I could see Washington. Daniel Jeremiah, I think a week ago, mocked him to the Patriots. I could see that. I could see the Texans. I could see a lot with Bijan Robinson. I've seen a lot of people have him falling to 26, 27, 28. I think theoretically one of these teams could go and get him. I think the Eagles could stay at 10 and move from 30 to, say, I don't know. I think they could trade down from 10, recoup some capital, and then trade up from 30 back into the mid-rounds. I don't know. I just want to get Bijan Robinson on the Eagles, and that's what I'm doing here. Next we get into pick 11. It's Will Levis, right? It's Will Levis. No. I'm going to go Paris Johnson. I'm going to go safest pick on the board. Go with the tackle. You let go of Taylor Lewan. You lost Nate Davis, so your offensive line is theoretically getting even worse. I just don't think this is a quarterback team. I don't. I think Ryan Tannehill, they'll stick it out. They'll be whatever they are with Ryan Tannehill, and Malik Willis will get on the field somehow as a gadget guy, but I think this team is fine being 8 and 9, 10, 7 and 10 with Ryan Tannehill. I truly believe that. And just drafting the biggest need on the board at left tackle. Paris Johnson out of Ohio State. Next we get into number 12 with the Houston Texans. Man, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, no, I do know. I'm going to take the best player on the board. It's Christian Gonzalez. Theoretically, he could go 10 here to the Eagles, but I wanted to just put Bijan Robinson on the Eagles. But Christian Gonzalez, fantastic corner. He's probably my number 1 corner in the draft just because of his size and length and athleticism all combined together is better than Devon Witherspoon. But I think Christian Gonzalez, he is also a 2-year producer. Was at Colorado, could have been a first round if he stayed at Colorado, went to Oregon, got even better, and now's made him a lot of money. He's going to be a top 15 pick. I don't see a way where he falls past, like, the Patriots, but again, the Patriots don't take cornerbacks in the first round, but we'll see. Here are the Jets. Oof. The Jets are in a sad place because they lose the best 2 tackles on the board. I don't think receiver. They're not going to take a quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded for 2 second-round picks. That's why they wanted to trade Elijah Moore. I'm going to go with Nolan Smith. I think this is just another edge rusher just put on the team and tell him to go get him. Nolan Smith at the combine tore it up. I think he jumped 40 inches, jumped over 10 feet. in the broad. He ran a 4.39 at edge. He is slight. He is under 240 pounds, but the guy has real production at Georgia. He has, you know, I mean, not in 2022, but in 2021, I think he suffered I don't want to say ACL tear because he did showcase at the combine, but maybe meniscus was what he tore. But Nolan Smith, very good player. I think he could easily be in the top 15. I think this is probably the highest he would go. I just wanted to put him on the Jets just because I think the Jets would love to have a guy like him to just shore up that defensive line edge rotation. Next, we get into the New England Patriots. I want to imagine a world where DeAndre Hopkins and Bill O'Brien just get over whatever they have, whatever the beef they have, so so DeAndre Hopkins could be here, so I don't have to worry about receiver. But I do. I don't like the receiving core. I want to shore it up. I really like Joey Porter here, but they're not going to take Joey Porter. I've seen it. I've mocked it. I think Zay Flowers makes a lot of sense, but I've done it a few times, so I'm going to go different. I'm going to go with Quentin Johnston. I said it before. I don't think any of these guys are worth a top 15 pick. I just look at this kind of the way the draft falls to you. I don't think this team takes DBs because they just draft DBs too well in the late rounds. They just do. You look at this DB room and you go, that team needs a corner, and they're still going to end up being like top 10 in passing yards allowed. But I think they need a true X receiver. Quentin Johnston can fly down the field. This is assuming in my head they don't get DeAndre Hopkins. I don't want to assume too much because there's still a lot to go on. But yeah, I think Quentin Johnston makes all too much sense. They have quarterback as a need, which is crazy to me. I think Mac Jones was good his rookie year. He's finally realigned with his college coordinator too. Mac Jones taking a step this year. Maybe. We'll see. Man. 15, the Packers. Is it JSN? Oof. If they only have one first round, I love Michael Mayer. I love the fit of Michael Mayer, but if they only have one first round pick, I'm not going to take Michael Mayer. If they had 2, if they had 13 also, I could see a world where they take Michael Mayer, but I don't think Michael Mayer is worth the 15th pick. Man. Brian Branch makes a lot of sense. I don't think the NFL is going to value Brian Branch as much as us in the media. They don't really need corner. I'm going to take Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, you're going to take Michael Mayer. You take Dalton Kincaid. I think Dalton Kincaid can do more in the receiving area. I think you need to pick something here that benefits Jordan Love. He lost Alan Lazard. He doesn't have Devontae Adams, and they didn't have him last year, but they just need something there. And I think Dalton Kincaid truly, he has the Kelsey stamp on him, but that's just because everyone compares everyone's upside to the greatest player at the position. But I think he can theoretically step in and be like a Zach Ertz level receiver year one, and that's very valuable, especially in the Packers scheme to me. Next we get into the Commanders. Will Levis, still on the board. I could see it. I could see them taking Will Levis. I'm not. I'm gonna go Joey Porter. One pick before the the Steelers. So sad. Joey Porter, long corner. Of course, the son of Joey Porter Sr., who played multiple years, won a Super Bowl with the Steelers. I think is he still a linebackers coach? I know he was for a little bit. But Joey Porter makes all the sense in the world to the Commanders. Just look at that CB room. I'm surprised it's not a need. This, for me, a lot of people keep mocking CB here. It's the same thing to me. Tackle, tackle, tackle. And Broderick Jones is probably the best tackle on the board here. I think you could argue DeJuan Jones, maybe. I don't think Darnell Wright has left tackle flexibility. So I'm just going Broderick Jones. Just shore up the offensive line. You took Najee Harris a few years ago. You want to be able to run the ball. You have a very young quarterback. I feel like you want to be able to protect him and keep him upright. Get yourself a tackle. And I think the top end tackles, you look at the tackles and I feel like it really falls off. Once these four guys are taken, Jalen Duncan is very far different from Darnell Wright. From starting year one. I see a lot of guys I would be able to I would just take shots on. I like Bergeron. Do I think he's the 54th best player? Maybe not. Maybe. The positional value probably puts him. I definitely don't think Anton Harrison is the 23rd best player in this draft. Very good, pass blocker. Very good anchor, but I don't know. Who would I pick? I picked Devon Witherspoon. Ugh. I mean, he fell to 18. I'm going to take him. He fell. I was thinking in my head, I'm just going to go and slap Will Levis with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Lions picked before him. And the Lions, here's the thing. I'll talk about Will Levis, just go on a little rant. If Jared Goff is the reason you're not taking a first-round quarterback in this draft, if he falls to you at 18, I don't know what to say. Lions fans love Jared Goff, and Jared Goff was very good in 2022. I won't argue that. He was. My only issue is, can you win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff? I do not believe that. And maybe that's not what the Lions are chasing. Maybe it isn't. Fine. Maybe they just want a division title and they're happy. But theoretically, you can get with a rookie quarterback. I said this when Mock Draft 1.0 came out. When my Mock Draft 2.0 came out. Quite possibly when my Mock Draft 3.0 comes out. The Lions should take a quarterback because theoretically, you at the best position are getting younger. Will Levis isn't as young as the other three, but you're getting 4 or 5 years younger with Will Levis. You're getting cheaper for 4 years, quite possibly 5, and you're getting a higher ceiling. Will Levis can do things from the pocket, from outside the pocket. Jared Goff can't do. Period. He can't. So I think Will Levis makes a ton of sense. I think any quarterback makes a ton of sense to the Lions at 6 or 18. This team theoretically could pursue Lamar for all we know. I just don't want to see a world where they're just sticking with Jared Goff. They're not doing anything. They're going, Jared Goff's our guy. He's going to be... Well, he was good in 2022, right? Well, sometimes guys fall off. Some guys get worse. Some guys get better. I don't know. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to just go, yeah, Jared Goff's our guy, and we're not going to do anything about it. The Buccaneers. I'm going to go Myles Murphy here. I'm going to go Myles Murphy. Put him on the opposite side of Shaq Barrett. They don't win the quarterback battle. I could see tackle here, but I don't like the left tackles on the board. I project Darnell Wright as a right. I project DeJuan Jones as a right. Theoretically, you have the best right tackle in the league. Maybe you move him to left. Maybe you try something. You draft one of these tackles and move him to left. I don't know. This is just me going with probably the best player on the board, on my board. Maybe Deonte Banks is better, but I don't think they need corner after sticking with Jamel Dean. So, next we get into pick 20 with the Seahawks. I had Jalen Carter. So I'm gonna work on the other side of the line. I'm gonna go Osiris Torrance here. Oh, what happened? I'm gonna go Torrance because they did take D-line. I'm not thrilled with the edge rushers on the board here. I love Will McDonald, but I don't know. I think he is he is a specific flavor of edge rusher that I don't think every team is going to just stick and pick. I don't think everyone's going to have Will McDonald as the best edge rusher left on the board. And I don't see a lot of guys willing to see, I'm scrolling really far. I could see JSN. A lot of people have stuck JSN here. Makes a lot of sense. Theoretically, it does. But, I don't know. I think going guard is more important. I think you still got Tyler Lockett. You still got DK Metcalf. Probably have another guy I'm missing. I think they still have Dwayne Eskridge. I liked him out of Western Michigan. Pick 21. Everyone keeps mocking it, and if it just happens, like if he just falls here, he should be the pick every time. It's Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers makes way too much sense. They need speed. They need verticality. And also Zay Flowers is just another guy you can just put the ball in his hands and he's going to make a play. Love Zay Flowers. He's probably my wide receiver 1. I'm probably talking a little too far away from the mic. I should probably, move this over a little bit. Kind of maybe this help with, audio or something. I don't know. Pick 22. The Ravens. I really like Branch or Deonte Banks here to just come in and fit in immediately. Because I don't think they keep Marcus Peters. Whew. But JSN falling to 22 is just, it's too good of a pick. You have Rashad Bateman who can fly down the field and separate, he's a good route runner. Devin Duvernay can fly down the field. I think you need an every down, can catch every ball you throw at him. Just get open. A money guy alongside Mark Andrews and I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is that guy. He has 4.5. I said 5.4. 4.5 speed at Ohio State, but also Ohio State has a fast track, and Justin Fields ran like a 4.4 there, right? I want to say. So it's really tough for me to. And Justin Fields is electric. I don't know if he's 4.4. I don't know. I don't think so. Who else? There's another example somewhere. I'm trying to think. There's been a big difference. This guy theoretically could have been an Indy and been like a 4.6 guy. There's a reason he didn't run it. But, I don't know. Makes a lot of sense. Vikings. They don't have Adam Thielen. Deonte Banks makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go Deonte Banks. They just won another corner opposite. Who is their corner one? Byron Murphy. They signed in free agency. So, yeah, I think Deonte Banks, a very good tester at the combine. I really liked him. Yeah, I think he's a stick and pick kind of guy here. Just take the best take the best CB on your board, whether that be him, whether that be Cam Smith, and then we kind of get into we're kind of far. Keely Ringo shouldn't be the 74th best player. I don't think he's a first round pick, but I would take him over Garrett Williams and THT, who is 5'7". Am I right? 5'8". So I would take Keely Ringo over that guy. Jaguars. Man, he's fallen here. Brian Branch. I do believe Brian Branch is going to fall, though. I do believe that. If Derwin James is going to fall the way he did, if Isaiah Simmons isn't going to go in the top 5, Brian Branch is definitely going to fall. Mark that on your bingo sheet for the NFL draft. Is Brian Branch going to be a top 20 pick? And you just put no, because I don't think the NFL values safeties the way anything. Look at the free agency market. Jesse Bates was the only one who got a big market deal. I'm seeing a lot of Brian Branch. I kind of want to just stick him here with the Jaguars. But, man, I really like Michael Mayer here. But they franchise tagged. I'm going to go DeJuan Jones. They lost Jawan Taylor, instant, just plug-and-play guy. I think DeJuan Jones, someone is going to love him. Someone is going to love DeJuan Jones. He will be a first-round pick. Someone is going to, think he's, the third or second best tackle in this draft. And someone's going to love him because he's incredibly huge. He is built like a bear. That's his comp. To me, he is a bear. But, yeah, it makes a lot of sense here. I'm just going to put Brian Branch here, too. I could see Jordan Addison. I don't know if Jordan Addison's a top 32 pick. But Brian Branch, they lose Julian Love. I think they just want an every down playmaker in the backfield. They signed Bobby Okereke, so that means Brian Branch would have a lot more flexibility around the field rather than being a box linebacker at a very small size. He's, 6 foot, 190? Yeah, I think he's one of the safer picks in this draft. If you pick an Alabama safety in this draft, you're picking very safe. Jordan Battle, also very good. Love Jordan Battle. Love both these Alabama safeties. Loved Eddie Jackson. Loved Xavier McKinney. And he's here. Look at that. So much fun doing mock drafts. You just find some fun. Oof. Brian Breezy makes too much sense. I was on Twitter this morning and I saw their theoretical defensive lineup. I love their defensive lineup. I love the Brandon Cooks trade. I love the Stephon Gilmore trade. They just need one more D lineman body. Why is running back a need? Why? Just so you can pick Bijan Robinson here? It doesn't make any sense. Running back is not a need. Tony Pollard can be an every down back. He has shown it. When Zeke was out in some of those games last year, I had Tony Pollard in fantasy. That guy can be an every down back. I truly believe that. They don't need to take one with the 26th pick. They don't. There's too much talent in this draft. If Bijan falls to you, I don't have him falling, but if he falls to you, sure, why not? Go ahead. But I just want to see this team with one more D-line vet, Akeem Hicks, Matt Ioannidis, someone like that who can just come in and be a first and second down run stopper. And then you can rotate in Brian Breezy or take Kalijah Cansey or take another D lineman who falls in this draft. Mozzie Smith would make a lot of sense. I really like Mozzie Smith too. I think Daniel Jeremiah had him going. Yeah, I just think they need one more interior D lineman. Wherever, and if they get one in free agency, because they have $13 million in cap room, so they can definitely sign a veteran. It would give them full flexibility with this pick. They could take Jordan Addison. They could take Michael Mayer. Whatever they want. You say anything. I think Brian Breezy is just a better pick than Michael Mayer, personally. The Bills. One need. DB. I'm going to go Jordan Addison. Why? This is a team who is in win now. I think, if he falls, if DeJuan Jones makes it here to 27, I would have taken him here. I would have taken O'Cyrus Torrence. I think O-linemen are just going to go in this draft. I think there's a lot of not-so-safe picks. Darnell Wright also makes a lot of sense. Maybe I should have taken Darnell Wright, but I would rather take Jordan Addison. It's the same way I had the Bengals philosophy a few years ago. I would rather take the electrifying receiver playmaker than maybe the safe need at tackle. And they need a wide receiver too. I think they just put bodies in the room to figure it out. Can Gabe Davis be the wide receiver too? He wasn't last year. He wasn't good enough. Can he? Maybe he can. Jordan Addison, same thing. Throw him in the room. Deontay Hardy they signed. Throw him in the room. Just throw guys in the room who can fly down the field for Josh Allen. The Bengals. Michael Mayer. I think this team needs a tight end. Look at their tight end. They just signed Irv Smith. They have Devin Asiasi from a few years ago in the draft, UCLA, brewing up. Is that, I don't know. I don't know what their saying is. But that makes a lot of sense. I do believe that makes a lot of sense. Oof. My favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Like, Kalijah Kancey makes the most sense here. I love Will McDonald, but he doesn't make sense in the scheme. Ozzie Smith I like. B.J. Ojolari again. Kind of same. Adebaware. My dream is trading down. But all I know is they're going to trade up and draft Brian Breezy. Because I don't like Brian Breezy. I don't like him. I'm going to go Kalijah Kancey. He's just the best D lineman on the board. And don't think I was like, oh, I'm saving Kalijah Kancey. He's ranked 13. I need him to fall to the Saints because they need D linemen. No, that's not true. I don't think Kalijah Kancey's the 13th best player in this draft. Kalijah Kancey, just like, I haven't been explaining too many players as much. Maybe that's just Michael Mayer. But Michael Mayer, I think they just need tight ends. I did say that. Oh man, this has been a long mock draft. Kalijah Kancey, he is Aaron Donald, right? He's Aaron Donald. He's Aaron Donald. I mean, they both went to Pitt. They both have sack reduction. They're both undersized. He's Aaron Donald. No, it's not true. Kalijah Kancey is like mini Aaron Donald, like Dollar Tree. But I think he's a good pass rusher. He has very good hand placement. I think he could be very good. The Eagles. Would I have them take? I did this a few weeks ago, so I'm going to keep doing it. Holy shit, he's 77? I'm going to go Jalin Hyatt. This team needs speed. Like, they need speed and skill. Speed and skill at wide receiver. I don't think Quez Watkins is, frankly, good. So, I want to not get Quez Watkins on the field. Jalin Hyatt can fly down the field, and maybe you get, Jalen Reagor, kind of terrified. Like, Josh Downs isn't the speedy fly down the field guy. He's just not. I don't know. Nathaniel Dell, they have him at 43. PFF is a weird, I need a consensus board. Who is it? Arif Hassan, get on it. Find the consensus board. I need it. And then, just to put him in the first round, Will McDonald. Makes too much sense. I think people have mocked this before. Will McDonald to the the Chiefs. Just a very good player. He can win. He has why I love him is he has production. He has a go-to move he can win with, and he knows, he can be every down. He can be on the field for rundowns. He showed it at Iowa State. So, that's my mock. I wanted to see it pop up so I could go through every pick just to top it all off, but looks like PFF is not going to let me do that. Huh. That's a shame. Well, full result, Stroud to the Panthers at 1, Bryce Young, I'm just going to give the highlights. Bryce Young went to the Texans, Will Anderson to the Cardinals, Colts take Anthony Richardson, Jalen Carter goes 5, Peter Skoronski goes 9 to the Bears, Bijan at 10, early pick, Nolan Smith at 13, more highlights, Will Levis at 18, Zay Flowers at 21 to the Chargers, Will Levis going to the Lions, forgot to mention that. Brian Branch falls all the way to 25 to the Giants, 26 Brian Breezy, 27 Jordan Addison, and then 31 Will McDonald. That's really it for my draft. It still hasn't loaded, so that's it for me. Thank you for sticking around. If you stuck around to the whole thing, really appreciate it. If you drop a like, it will really encourage me to do more mock drafts in the future. Just a video recording rather than a podcast format, so I like doing this. This was fun, so that's it for me. 50 minutes of a mock draft, just casually. I was just going to casually scroll through this and maybe kill a half hour. Instead, I kill 50 minutes because I have to talk about all 31 picks extensively about why they make sense because, well, if I don't explain them, then you're going to be in the comments telling me why the hell am I taking Quentin Johnston at 14 when the Patriots already have DeAndre Hopkins in my head. I don't know. That's it. Thank you. Leave a like, subscribe, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, find my podcast, the Bustworthy Podcast, just Bustworthy. I talk on there all the time. If you like what you hear, then go over there and you'll hear more of me. If you don't like what you hear, we'll still go over there and leave a review. That'd be cool. Thank you. So, that's it for me. Love you. Peace out. Bye. Kisses.